Now let's get into the big story of the day so far. Southwest canceled more than 2,000 weekend flights, and the disruptions are continuing. And this is a story from today. It's been updated after I covered it this morning. But I also did something interesting. There was a post on patriots.win, which is the big Donald Trump forum, and someone there said they were a pilot, and they were like, Tim Pool, I know you browse here. You better get in touch with me. And then I was like, okay. So I did a little digging, found the person's information. Turns out it wasn't actually the person who was posting. I'll leave out a lot of details, but it was someone related to a pilot with Southwest who was relaying basically their story. And what I was told was there's no strike. There's no sick out. It's worse. It is part of what we've been seeing with the labor shortages across the board. When you push people too hard, eventually they reach their limit. So the vaccine mandates, for instance, was a huge smack in the face to a lot of these pilots who are already pushing their maximum hours. I'm being told that, back in August, some of these people were already told by the FAA, due to what they said, federal aviation regulations, they couldn't fly. You fly too much. They're being spread too thin. And we saw the same thing happened earlier with Spirit Airlines. So we're seeing this across the board in almost every industry with labor shortages. You add on top of the fact that people are being spread too thin, a vaccine mandate. This is just bad policy across the board. But I know you, Tom, you were talking about having gotten a message from someone or having more insight on this.
Yeah. So what happened was that Colin is friends here with a number of Southwest pilots, and also in my family, I've got a pilot and an air traffic controller. And what happened was he got a text from one of his pilot buddies saying like, "Hey, there's a walkout," or when they say walkout, it's not a literal walkout. It's folks calling in sick at air traffic controllers in Jacksonville. Calls stopped like 650 flights, more to follow. Just wait, the pilots are about to step in too, and it's just getting started. Spread the word. So then Colin says, "Well, I know Tom's got a lot of followers on Twitter, for a non-public figure, and Tom knows people who have an awful lot of followers on Twitter." And he says, "You want to put it out?" I said, "You want to put it out?" Says Dave, said, "Go for it." So I did, and I was actually in the air. I was on the plane on the way out here from California. And I immediately Cerno retweets, and then I send it out to our mutual friend Jack Basovic, Kurt Slichter, all those guys, and it goes super viral. I think we're like almost 6 million views now. It's insane, and turns out like we broke the story. We scooped everybody else, which sounds crazy, and then of course
it seemed crazy to us at first because there was nothing about it anywhere. We were searching. And
he tells me about it. Like, I'm not seeing anything about that. Do you know anything? I didn't see anything in the media. And so then it goes big, and next thing you know, I'm in the plane the entire way, and it's just I'm getting DMs, we're getting hit up by people, and then next thing you know, we hear about more, and then more, and then I got a DM from somebody that says, "Hey, Tucker Carlson would like to talk to you, and here's a number." I'm like, "How do I know? Is it a non-account?" I'm like, "How do I know?" So and he says he will talk to you on the phone. So I'm like, "Okay, sure." So I send like a probing text like "hello," and then get a phone call and "hello," like, "Hi Tom, this is Tucker Carlson." I'm like, holy crap. Oh, okay, yes, sir, yeah. And so it was great. So we talked for about 20 minutes, and then I referred him to a few of our friends who are pilots who spoke to, and also spoke to the air traffic control of my family. She is unvaccinated and is planning on, losing her job.
Wow.
Yeah. And so they're making plans and all that, and then everyone else,
Is that like, 1,000 people out of 50,000?
I think
or is it
6,000 number is that for controllers. That's the number I was given.
Yeah, 6,000 controllers are going to refuse vaccination.
That's what they're looking to lose. That's what I was given. That's what. And you know who you are. You're watching. If you want to text me and correct me, go right ahead.
But you know the total number of air traffic controllers?
I don't know. I can actually find out. I just phoned a friend. So
yeah.
So, but that friend of the family, she's watching. So you go ahead and text me.
I mean, considering we're already dealing with labor shortages and problems with flights as it is, 6,000 is no small number.
Yeah.
I heard Tucker Carlson might be having a pilot on his show today, possibly. But
I might have been the person to introduce him to him.
But this is severe. We're talking about 3.1 thousand flights in 4 days canceled.
Yeah.
Now the
it's over 3,000 now.
Yeah, 3.1 in 4 days. Now the union is denying that this was a sick out, but the union, the pilots union, Southwest Pilots Union, is actually suing Southwest because on December 8th, that is the deadline that Southwest put on their employees to get vaccinated or be fired.
That is the day.
And, this could have been organized. This could have not been organized. It's going to be playing out soon, but I definitely foresee this to become more of the norm. I'd see a lot more disruptions coming. Former U.S. Congressman Ron Paul and former presidential candidate Ron Paul called today the, quote, Great Rebellion. So that right there kind of solidifies this kind of moment right now, which everyone's on edge. Everyone's waiting to see how these mandates are going to play out. Other people are calling some of these pilots terrorists. Some blue check mark individuals on Twitter are saying the pilots who are participating in a sick out are terrorists, and that's just hyperbolic, nonsensical language. And very interestingly, even when we saw workers' union in Australia rise up, we saw a lot of people on the establishment left criticize them, even though it was a populist workers' union standing up for their personal freedoms, for their bodily autonomy, for their individual rights as human beings, not to be subjugated and jump through government hoops. So a lot of things are moving. This is a fast-moving story. It's only going to develop from here. And if it's not organized, as you said, Tim, this is only going to get a lot worse.
And if it is being organized, they're not going to say that it is.
Exactly.
Right.
They told us it was the weather. It was like, it's the weather. I'm like, bull freaking crap.
Yeah.
The weather's only affecting one airline out of all the other airlines out there? You got to be kidding me. I mean, we're not that stupid. Southwest released that statement. The mainstream media regurgitated it. I mean, what kind of bull crap are they trying to give to the American people when they're telling everyone, it's the weather, guys?
Here's
bull crap.
Here's the best part. So the other night we were watching Family Guy. It was like a new episode on Fox 5. I don't know, is that like the local DC channel or whatever. The news comes on. And the big story is Southwest cancellations. At this point, it was over 1,000. And the lady said, Southwest has canceled over 1,000 flights. They said in a statement that it was due to weather and issues with air traffic control. The FAA issued a statement saying that there was no shortage of air traffic controllers and then I was like, wait. Who said shortages? Like, why did they include that statement? So what you learn is the news outlet knew that there was a story about a shortage. And they included the quote from the FAA, but not the actual information, the context you needed to understand why the FAA said that.
Right.
What that says to me is that the news is withholding information from people because they don't want. Here's what I think. I think if regular people realize that 6,000 air traffic controllers are going to refuse to be vaccinated.
And it looks like from the FAA, 14,000 air traffic controllers in the U.S.
That's the total.
Okay.
14,000 plus, it says.
If that's true, consider air travel done. But if that's the case, how many more people are going to be like, if they can do it, so can I?
Yeah.
And that's why they're so worried about these celebrities, too.
Yeah,
It's a stare down, though, too. That's the thing. Right now, you're having, establishment, whether this is like a major corporation, whether it's a government agency, and then you got the people, and like they're having the stare down, like, hey, somebody's going to have to blink.
Yeah.
Eventually,
Welcome to the
somebody
United
will.
States.
But it's not just Southwest.
yeah.
There's other elements of society that are saying, no. My body, my choice. I get to decide what I get to put inside of myself, including Amtrak. The Amtrak official Twitter account just posted that there's going to be some shortages of trains because of, quote, unforeseen crew issues. Yeah. What unforeseen crew issues are you talking about? There's also Kyrie Irving, an NBA player that gets paid $15.58 million. He's putting his contract on the line because he's refusing to bow down to the authoritarians, and they're telling him you might not be able to play home games, and that's what might happen in just a few moments from now. So and it's also National Guardsmen. There's also reports of over 100,000 troops not taking the vaccine, not budging. So there's a lot more people out here that are saying no than we even know about.
Here's what I think we're seeing right now. It's we've talked about this quite a bit. The rat experiment, the rat utopia experiment.
Yeah.
What was it? Carl Schlichter? Is that the name of the guy?
I think so.
We went through how long? Like a year of lockdown, a little bit longer. And then it was this summer, they said, okay, everything's going back to normal. And then it's all coming back again. Are you guys, I'm sorry, not the rat utopia experiment, the Hope experiment. Sorry, I got it wrong.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with the Hope experiment?
Not terribly, no.
No.
They take 3 cylinders, they put rats in them, they're full of water, and the rats swim desperately. After 15 minutes, the rats give up and die. They then did another experiment. They put the rats in the cylinders. After 15 minutes, the rats give up, but then they pull the rats out, dry them off, let them rest, put them back in. Then the rats swam for 60 hours.
6-0.
Yeah, 6-0. Because they felt hope. They were like, that hand will save me again.
That was Dr. Kurt Richter out of
Kurt
Harvard.
Richter. I can't.
Was Richter.
Why
They had
did I
Kurt
say
Schlichter's on the
Right,
show
right,
from time
right.
to time.
Richter.
So,
wonder if they're related.
This is what I think. Look, these cancellations and everything, it is going to get bad. The lockdowns are like the vaccine mandates are basically lockdowns. They're telling businesses you can't operate, unless you do these things. And then we're seeing people say no to them, which is resulting in more economic strife. But this time, people aren't going to freak out as much. They're gonna hold out for hope because they've seen the return to normal, if only for a few months.
That's a great observation.
I mean, that experiment is terrifying, especially with what could possibly happen here, because there's still a lot of unexplained issues. We still don't know exactly what's going on. We know that there's a lot of mandates, a lot of government pressure. We saw what happened with United Airlines, with them pressuring their employees, firing their employees. So I could definitely see that this is not going to go away anytime soon. But there's also a lot of other issues. You know, there's estimates here that over 100 million people in the United States had already COVID. This brings up the question of natural immunity. There's 200 million estimated people that have taken the vaccine, but daily cases are still up 300% than they were from last year when there was no vaccine. What's going on here? What's the science? Dr. Fauci deserves to explain all of this, and there's no explanation. There's no conversation, and we should at least start with some of these basic facts and just be able to have an honest, real conversation about it, and we can't.
I think we need to recognize that they don't know.
Yeah.
And the problem is Dr. Fauci likes to always say definitive things and then get proven wrong. And probably one of the most dangerous things he said was Christmas is canceled. And then everyone's like freaking out. And then he goes, I misread the science. It's not canceled anymore. Like, then don't say it, man, because people are freaking out already. But hey, maybe that's what they want.
He loves the attention.
They want you spinning in circles, confused.
Exactly. And that's why when there was a major backlash, he went back on the science of canceling Christmas. And just a few moments ago, he issued a statement that he's granting permission for kids to go trick-or-treating. Are you kidding me? You're not God. You might be compared to Keebler elves, but that's not God. Maybe in some religions it is. But for frick's sake.
Thank you, Lord God Emperor.
You don't get there's no science backed by it. It's all a popularity contest, and it's getting ridiculous by the day.
Isn't he the highest paid federal employee?
Yeah, he is.
He's making more money than like the president.
Yep.
Making more than like a 4-star general. And because I think he's been in that job, that specific job, like about as long as like someone's been alive.
40 years. 80s, I think.
Longer than I've been alive.
Yeah. I'm curious to know all the income streams he has.
Oh yeah.
He's
got a book deal. He's got that Netflix documentary too.
No, Disney. Disney.
Oh,
right?
Disney Plus. You're right.
Plus.
Thank you.
It had the Fauci the new movie Fauci had like a 1.2 rating on IMDb, but it was a bunch of fraudulent reviews. So now they're fixing it as a 5.8 rating.
Sure. They're like, let's be real. You can hate Fauci. The story can be awful, but we put that documentary together very well.
We did, yeah.
How many dislikes does it have now? Because they got rid of the comments. I want to see. I'm going to look it up.
Why would they ever get rid of the comments?
It was 95,000 dislikes a couple days ago.
Let's actually, can we?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Where's that on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. It's the Fauci Disney Plus trailer to his documentary.
That's a horrible picture of him.
It's Disney Plus with National Geographic.
Like, I don't know if he had a cheekbones done or something.
All right, so we pulled it up.
105,000 dislikes. Oh my! So the National Geographic page. Are you on that one?
Oh no, I'm on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
The Fauci official trailer has 21,000 dislikes.
Yeah. On the National Geographic one, which comes up first when you type in Fauci National Geographic's documentary that was released a month ago, 105,000 dislikes. 7.7.
We got it right here. 105,000 dislikes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes, man. Oof.
This is popular.
Well, I'll tell you this: people don't like Dr. Fauci.
Yes.
Man, I don't.
I mean, who's gonna love North Korean style propaganda films? Seriously, I mean, there's no conflict, there's no drama here. It's Bono and George W. Bush acting like fluffers to Dr. Fauci. That's what the documentary is about. Okay, I don't want to watch that. If I want to watch North Korean style propaganda movies, I'll watch North Korean propaganda movies.
They're funny.
They're interesting. They're thought provoking. At least there's something there that is kind of theater. But for them to play like they're unbiased and not interview anyone critical of him, not introduce any. I mean, they talk about the AIDS drama a little bit, but other than that, it's just glorification of a government bureaucrat. And there's nothing more disgusting, in my opinion, than to worship someone in public office. You should be holding them accountable. You should be making sure that they're transparent. You should be making sure that they're accountable to the people. You should be making sure that they're working for you, not worshiping and celebrating these. I can't even say it. Family-friendly show here.
You criticize Fauci. You're criticizing science.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The guy's a madman. He's a lunatic.
So hold on. Don't show it just yet. But I pulled up the Rotten Tomatoes for Fauci, and do you guys have a guess? A guess on the official critic score?
99.999.
Official. Oh, don't look at the screen.
I just did. I already gave you my guess. I already guessed. I said 99.9%.
All right, just pull it up.
All right.
The official critics give Fauci 91%.
Wow.
But the audience score is 2%.
Oh my gosh.
This is like the worst score I've ever seen from an audience.
But
But It's people who just don't like Fauci.
Yeah, they initially didn't have that audience score.
We should pull up the Dave Chappelle recent comedy
The new
special.
one.
That was actually I saw half of it. I was
didn't
actually
see that.
pleasantly surprised. I didn't agree with everything he said, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I was able to sit back and enjoy it.
Now we pull up Dave Chappelle, the closer. Official critics 33%, audience score 97%. You see how this works?
Oh yeah.
There are clearly two different figurative species: the journalist,
Yeah.
the better men, as they would call themselves,
Our betters.
Yes, our betters, and then everyone else.
Right.
And they're all sitting there clapping. Oh, Fauci, he's brilliant, and Dave Chappelle. Oh, how dare he? Oh.
It's digital Hunger Games. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
right.
In a lot of ways, it's not. Fortunately, it's not real Hunger Games.
No,
yet.
no.
We're not there yet.
It almost is. I mean, with like AOC at the Met Gala
yeah.
wearing that dress, no masks, and then
Right.
we see the what was it? Seth Rogen at the Emmys, I think, where he's like, "Look at us all, we're not wearing masks." He's like, "What's wrong with us?" And they're all laughing about it, like they don't care.
This makes me think that cements the idea that authoritarianism doesn't work in art because you can't like force someone to think they like something they don't like. But then I'm thinking about Yeonmi Park coming out of North Korea and
Yeah.
how they don't even know what love is. Like they don't understand that concept because it was never taught to them. So maybe authoritarianism does work in art, and we're just seeing the beginning of them trying to do it, and it doesn't work in the beginning.
Well,
it takes
well,
a generation.
It's a horrifying
Look at
thought.
all these movies where they did like woke remakes or whatever. I mean, man, I know you guys haven't seen the new Craft because of just who you are as people who pay attention and have good taste. But you guys remember the Craft, right? The old '90s movie with
The witchcraft thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. So they remake it,
Okay.
and the latest version is just like the most nonsensical, woke, religious garbage. It's not even a movie. It's just like doesn't make sense at all. David Duchovny, for some reason, turns out to be the bad guy, but he apologizes to this girl for being mean with her, mean to her. He's the stepdad, and he's like, don't attack people because she hit somebody, and then she gets all like shocked that she was told not. It just the movie makes literally no sense. They cast a spell on a guy to turn him gay or something. Like, for real.
Is it worse than Girl Ghostbusters?
Oh yeah.
wow, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
at least Girl Ghostbusters was like just a bad movie.
Sure.
The Craft is like random woke PSA clips stitched together.
Yeah.
And so, like what you're saying, Ian, that you can't force someone to like art. Yeah, but if there are people who will just clap, in unison for the establishment, it's not about liking art. It's about just they're clapping to fit in. And so they'll tell you they like everything. They like anything they're told to like.
Yeah.
The comments on this Dr. Fauci documentary are absolutely glorious and awe-stunning. Someone wrote, corporations and government working together against the people, classic. Another person wrote, the gain of function is really going to be relatable to a lot of people. So, and someone wrote that they're going to make this movie into a ride at Disney. And the wait is going to be 2 minutes, but you're going to be there for 15 years. So the comments are absolutely beautiful and glorious. Some people wrote this is the sequel to Nuremberg 2.0. Again, a lot of people are saying a lot of different comments. Lots of let's go Brandons, but the comments are very entertaining to say the least.
Nice.
So I think
Why didn't Trump fire the guy?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Why didn't Trump fire a lot of people?
I think the reality is that the Trump presidency was anything but a despotism. It was a guy who was like, I'm going to do what I want to do, and he's kind of a loudmouth, but he didn't push too hard. And the problem was he should have fired a lot of people. He should have fired Fauci, but he didn't do it, and he could have done it.
Yep. I think right now, as it stands, like the odds are, if you had to play the odds, I mean, a lot of people have these predictions, but it's pretty clear that Trump, he's going. And I mean, he's going for it this next round. And frankly, I think he's going to get it. I'm not saying this is one of those things where, whether like necessarily what I want, and all that, but if I had to bet money on something, and I think he's going to win. I really do. I know it sounds crazy, right? But I mean, people thought it was crazy the first time around.
His approval is up in rural areas.
Yeah.
We're hearing suburban areas that were anti-Trump are now supportive of Trump, even though he's not president. This is the craziest thing.
Yeah.
It's like approval now flipped over 50% in some suburban areas where it's like, he's not even the president and they approve of the guy. What?
Yeah. And he's going to go against like an animated corpse.
You think
Well,
Biden's
I
gonna
mean,
go-
really. Or he's going to go against a very unlikable, former
Lady.
cop.
Yes.
Reanimated.
Maybe.
Reanimated.
Or maybe he's going to go up against Oprah. But more importantly, he's
yeah.
probably going to have to go against Ron DeSantis. And there's a lot of Donald Trump supporters that are absolutely angry at him for
Yeah.
his handling of the events after his presidency, for not supporting them, for
Sure.
not standing up with them, for raising a lot of money and
Yeah.
then kind of sitting on it. There's a lot of accusations of money just being thrown away,
I don't
of
disagree.
fraud. So there's a lot of disenfranchised Donald Trump supporters that are absolutely mad with him, especially with what he did to whistleblowers,
Yep.
especially the opportunities he had, the opportunities he failed. I mean, if someone, I mean, a lot of people have been left after the Trump presidency being like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
What? I thought he was going to make America. What?
Yeah.
No, a lot of people are disenfranchised, but a lot of people are also understanding how bad Biden is.
Yeah.
So it's going to play off
And
each
with
other.
DeSantis's, unfortunately, his wife came down with cancer,
Yeah.
breast
Yeah,
cancer.
wow.
That could be a game changer for her, because if things take a turn, like him doing something like that while wife with cancer, that's a
Ron,
tough
if you're
one,
listening,
man.
look into fasting.
You know what I think? I think Trump was heavily focused on his economic agenda,
Yeah.
and he ignored the politics of it all.
Yeah,
That's kind of the problem of having someone that a non-politician as president.
Exactly.
yeah,
I was talking to somebody a long time ago in New York, and they were mentioning, I think, Philadelphia. They had I don't know, it's not a wolf, is it? But they mentioned they tried electing a businessman governor and it didn't work or something. I don't know the full details. Maybe you guys in Pennsylvania know this, but typically what you'll get is someone like Trump who thinks that he's the CEO of this big company. He can be like, you're fired. Then he gets in the government and he goes to somebody and says, you're fired. And they go, you don't have the authority to do that. That's got to go through committee approval. We'll see you in a month.
yeah.
And that person stays in the job, or they got a weird federal union. So I feel like Trump mostly, I mean, he picked a lot of weird culture war fights. He focused on economics, which was good, but the swamp had him surrounded.
Yeah.
He couldn't actually change things that needed to be changed. I mean, if the one thing he could have done was, I don't know, pardon Assange.
Sure.
Couldn't even do that. He pardons the Detroit mayor guy.
He said he doesn't know who Assange is. He said he loved WikiLeaks when he was running for president, and then he's like, WikiLeaks? What's that? I don't even know what that is.
When it played to his favorite.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like you have an opportunity and chance to go against the establishment in such a way with just one little move, correcting a wrong by the U.S. military-industrial complex, correcting a wrong by the intelligentsia, and you don't do it?
But he fire Fauci? Like, even when he was clearly not getting along with the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
But he just didn't make these moves. And
if you think about this, like, I know I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Curtis Yarvin, of course. And it's one thing he's talked about quite a bit, where it's like, hey, this is bigger than one man, where it's like, where like the president of the United States is like the leader of the executive branch in the same way that the Queen of England is like the head of state officially the head of state, but doesn't have any real constitutional power. Has a little bit like on paper, but isn't really anything. He did a big long bit. I'm a big fan of his. And he did a long bit on Tucker Carlson today, explaining all that. I hope you guys get him on. I mean, he's fantastic,
interesting.
but he's just like, no, it's bigger than him. It's like you look at the entire federal government, where it's just like it's like fish in a coral reef, and then a giant wave goes over a hurricane, and
Such
these
a great
fish
analogy.
are all. It is, yeah, and the fish are just kind of like the actual federal employees. There's like, oh, what's something every election something happened where it's like it's bigger, like that's and people call that deep state or the swamp, but it's decentralized. It's not some cabal.
the administrative state.
Yeah, administrative state. Yeah, exactly. And it's
These-
decentralized, all that.
Right. These people who exist in government beyond, in between every administration.
Sure.
They never go, and then they influence intel.
Yeah.
And you'll get a president who comes in, and the same people will be like, here's your official report. And I think this time or last time with Trump was like, I don't care, America first. And they were like, uh-oh, he's not listening to us. What do we do? And then all of a sudden they were like, he just got elected and we'll impeach him. And the same people who said they were gonna started the process.
Yeah.
Yarvin's recommendation of that book, The Machiavellians, would be really good for Trump to read if he comes back in again, because I think the real question is, what does he do differently?
I don't know if he reads books.
I don't think
Yeah,
it is.
I know.
but hold on.
Yeah, yes, please.
If Tucker reads it,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
there you go. Then Trump will turn on his his Fox News, and then Tucker will say it, and then we're good as long as But
Read it.
You gotta play. It's really my dude. I know.
it'll work out.
Tucker says good things about this. I should listen to this.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.